Again, I think this guy's doomed to never level. I really do think his system of leveling, I don't think, is connected to this world whatsoever. But yeah, I just got done with the 8th episode of Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. This is my thoughts on the episode. So the episode opens up with Emma divulging what we were left off with in the last episode. That in fact, it seems as if the warriors of this demi-plane have lost confidence. They don't feel that they relate at all with their leaders, with Tomoe, with Mio, with Makoto, and the idea that, whenever they train with them, as he finds out as he kind of listens in on some orcs, when they're training with them, they don't really feel like they're, at all in the same playing level. So they get this perspective that, yeah, at least with Tomoe and Mio, they let us get a hit in every now and then, but with Makoto, whenever we get anywhere close, he just blasts us. I mean, they feel inferior to their leaders, and so they've kind of given up on the hope of actually getting stronger. And they do talk about the idea that they kind of wish that these, the orcs being that they're so strong, and the lizard men being in the fact that they are so tactful, that they wish that the two of them would kind of work together and kind of formulating to give each other knowledge about their tactics to evolve themselves. And it seems like they're always kind of separated. And in response to this, essentially Makoto, along with Mio, they go to the orcs to, listen in on their problems. And Tomoe goes to the lizardmen to kind of listen to their problems. And eventually Tomoe comes to the plan to have a tournament where they will bring the strongest of each side together to have a match and then kind of judge them based on that. But not only that, to eventually kind of push them in the idea of, look, you're only 10% as strong as I want you guys to be. You're going to, essentially every week, we're going to get a match together, and each one of you are going to bout with each other, and we're going to see how you progress. You're going to keep getting stronger because that's what your leader desires. And again, this is a little shocking to them because it seems like there's some kind of issue with them wanting the other side to know what their tactics are. And that's, I kind of wish at some point they would kind of point out, no, look, you're all in this plane together. You need to share your information. You need to share what you guys have so we as a whole can get stronger and protect our leader. It was kind of odd that wasn't really pointed out, like, hey, you can get stronger, come together, make yourself stronger because that's what your leader wants. Instead, it just kind of left it to this idea that, you need to work together, you need to get stronger, or not, didn't really say together, you just need to get stronger, give up your tactics, and then having Makoto stand up and say, you guys can do it, you can get stronger, and they're like, yay, okay. It just seemed like a really weird direction to kind of take it at, so it was a bit of a weird scenario, in my opinion. This whole situation ends, and we had a scene where Makoto, Tomoe, and Mio go to the next guild, where they enlist to become guild members again, because again, they blew up the other place. So they're finally enlisting again. Again, Tomoe is less levels than Mio, and yes, Makoto is still level 1. I think, like I said, I don't think that he's able to be measured in this world or something like that. There's something weird there. But after this whole situation, the guild mistress there decides to inquire if this team can help them with a problem they have, which is that they're losing a lot of their ventures. A lot of their ventures are either gone, lime, or injured. All these people they've been taking out. So he feels a little responsible, but the desire they have is that they would go and train the next adventurer to be their lead. Like, since we don't have Lime anymore, we need somebody to take Lime's place. Do you know anybody that you can help, train to become the next of people that we can rely on? And Makoto's like, yeah, I kind of know somebody, and that is Towa's group. So he enlists Tomoe to essentially train Towa's group to be the next, big leaders of the adventure guilds. That way, it's at least somebody that he knows that he can control, because we've been dealing with too many corrupted adventurers. So at least with Tomoe or Towa's group, that can help him out. And Tomoe kind of takes the perspective of that, she kind of wants to help with this situation because she feels that Makoto is so connected to his old world, and that is something that is being, reminded to him through Towa. So she wants to relieve that fear that he has by getting Towa to be more stronger, get her team to where they can be their best. And so she goes this entire training montage of forcing them to fight really strong monsters. And not only that, but kind of giving them ideas of tactics they can use to better themselves. Because like with their alchemist, all he's doing is essentially healing the entire time. So relieve that healing needed and allow him to use magics that can actually aid them through damage and snaring. So cool to kind of get a little perspective of the training in that regard, and eventually forcing them to go fight an entire den of these, I don't know what they call them, shadow tails or something like that, like big monkey guys. And she goes back to the guild, and they're like, they can't, they're not going to, that's dangerous. We've lost lots of adventurers to that place. And then sure enough, they show up, and they defeated the main captains there, and they've been acknowledged as pretty much the next of the best of the adventures that they have. So it was really cool. Cool little segment there. The more dwarf girl and elf girl and all that kind of stuff was a lot of fun. So in the next segment, we pretty much have Makoto trying to figure out how he's going to open up his next shop. He needs to open up a shop so that he can get well known. He decides that he's going to open up a shop, but also that he wanted a placement inside of one of Rembrandt's shops. So if he can get a location that he can, put a little shop in his particular locations. And which Rembrandt's like, yeah, sure, we have an opening. And the butler's like, that was a lie. I got to figure out who I'm going to kick out. But this kind of opens up this, I didn't quite get exactly what they're talking about here, but essentially I think the trading guild was hoping that Makoto could aid them in fleshing out a espionage that is happening. And all he basically says that he feels that he can't really trust Rembrandt with any information of what he's researching, because he feels because Rembrandt has so many shops, he's probably involved in some way. But yeah, Rembrandt accepts, I'll let you have a spot in one of my shops. At the same time, he inquires about opening up a new shop, and that's when Rembrandt tells him, look, I have some connections in a neutral city. I can see if I can find a place there that you can open up a shop completely. So it seems like he has two options there. He's going to have a place inside of Rembrandt's shop, and he's going to open up a new shop in a neutral city. So we're probably going to get in the next episode this new neutral city and learn about more characters and whatnot that he's going to get involved with. And yeah, he needs something to put in that shop. And of course, this is this flower that he's been talking about, well, at least in the last episode, that he's focused on having. This very rare flower that these bees were feeding off of that cures its diseases. And he sends Mio to go check it out, along with one of the spider ladies, the Alkas. And as they arrive at this particular forest, which is, as we found out just earlier, a very dangerous forest, it seems like there's a bunch of adventurers walking through the forest, and we get a quick shot of two elves. So it seems like these elves are... It's kind of weird in this regard, because we've already seen elves. I mean, there's an elf in Toa's group. So it doesn't seem like elves themselves are being pushed out of the human realm. But it seems like they are talking about humans coming into this forest and desecrating it, and that these humans are kind of blessed by the goddess. So it's kind of giving us idea that this entire show has been getting this idea that, humans are blessed by the goddess because they're so beautiful. But it doesn't seem as if like dwarves or elves are being pushed out. Maybe it's something they haven't really covered. Maybe that Toa's group allows these dwarves and elves in their party, but they're not necessarily accepted by the public because they're not blessed by the goddess. But it is giving this perspective that this forest, adventurers get lost in it, and there's two elves in here talking about how these, evil humans that are blessed by the goddess are just destroying things in there. So I'm sure probably Mio will end up running into these elves in the next episode, and we'll get a clear picture exactly why this forest is so dangerous, because probably the elves don't want humans in it because they're blessed by the goddess and just destroy things. So but yeah, overall decent episode. A lot of it just really seems like a lot of setup, so we'll have to see where it goes from here. But that's my thoughts on episode 8 of Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. Hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Consider supporting us on Patreon if you can. And y'all take care.